So this is Douglas DeBecker with Fallen Rhythm Institute. I'm sitting here again with Two Feather. Two Feather, tonight we are going to cover the last of the three or four intros that we've done to present and talk about the class that you're doing. But first, let's be clear about what exactly is faith healing. When we say Native American faith healing, what is this?
Right, and that's a good foundation to start off with. The Native American faith healing is based on tradition. I'm using the word faith healing, whereas internally we would say traditional. So the two words kind of like interchange with each other. So faith healing is a way of dealing with everything that the Western doctors don't deal with in the hospitals. They have their Western way of medicine, and it's pretty one-sided. They're not open to things that come in from the outside, and I understand that. They're nuts and bolts. But faith healing is a combination of things that is dependent on the client. So if a client comes in with a thyroid disorder, then that's one type of faith healing that we would deal with. But if a client comes in with a ovary issue, that's another type of thing that we'd be dealing with faith healing. So it pretty much depends on how the person that's off balance comes in and what they need. Sometimes faith healing is completely with faith. Like I did an experiment with a scientist, and I had a client there that had some short-term memory losses. Matter of fact, that one's on YouTube on Two Feather Web TV, and it's a scientific proof of faith healing. So I had 8 minutes to alter the brain of this person that had a car accident, and I couldn't touch him. So that means it's completely done by faith and the power of faith. But if you have issues like some bones that are out of place, like 12-year lower back pains, I might go in there and then move some bones around a little bit, soften them up, and then move them back into place, and then harden them back up again. It takes 4 days to harden them back up again. So that's another type of faith healing, but here the hands are going on. So basically, it is not just one answer for that. So to look at it in the overall perspective, I like to look at it like a salad bowl. And if you have chopped up some lettuce and put it inside a bowl, you could say, I have a salad. But when you take the fork and eat it, you have the nutritional value of L for lettuce in your mouth. But then you put some bacon bits and some croutons, and you put some garlic sauce, and you put some other stuff in there. And now when you have your salad bowl built up, when you take a spoon, you got the same size spoon, the same size mouth in there. Now you have the vitamins of C for cheese, C for croutons, B for bacon bits. And so what we want to do in the Native American healing way is to put your finger on a spot that you're going to go work on, and then concentrate all of that energy and focused attention with the tools and the plants and the animals all onto that one spot. So we have a target going on. So faith healing really boils down to one thing. It boils down to this. It's the wave. And if you think of the way the dolphin swims in the ocean, that's a wave. And if you think of a bunch of zeros next to each other and you draw a pencil over the top of the circles, you'll see a wave going on. So the way to get the wave going is by following the law. And once you know the law, you can no longer claim ignorance. So in understanding the law, you then get the key, which means you may have passageway into the other side of the doors, which is tapping into the universe, tapping into Mother Earth, tapping into Father Sky, tapping into everything on the side. So basically, in my type of enlightened healing is I start from the inside of the client by activating your immune system. We all have immune systems. When we get a cut, our immune system fixes us. When we get a bruise, our immune system fixes us. When we get a head injury. So I go in, and the way I look at the immune system is like there's 100 soldiers on duty at all times. And 100 soldiers, you get a cut, that they send 30 soldiers to go fix a cut, and then you get a knock on the head, and they send 60 soldiers there, and you got 90 soldiers out. But really, inside your immune system, you have 1,000 soldiers. So my way is communicating with Mon Capitan, Herr General, and I asked the general to give the orders to the guys in the barracks, and then they all come out and start working on everything. So I start the process from the inside of the client working out, and then I come in and I work. They're working from the inside. I come in and work from the outside. We get it trapped in the middle, and then we stomp it out. It took 10 years, probably more like 15 years, to get to understand how this all works. And I like to look at patterns, see the same thing happens over and over again, see what the patterns say.
Okay, so now you're starting to touch on like how it works, right?
Yeah, how it works and what it is. Basically, it's returning whatever the client comes with, returning it back to balance and harmony again. Because if it's off balance, that means it was on balance, or if it's off balance, that means it could be on balance. So
How are you
I
determining?
don't like the word healing very much, but I have to use it sometimes because it's semantics. But the point is that if the thyroid is hypoactive, my job is to take the hypoactivity, reprogram it into normal activity. If it's hyperthyroid activity, then I go in and I tune it back to the norm again. So I'm discussing thyroids just so that people can relate to what I'm talking about. It could be anything part of the body. It could be a broken tailbone, or it could be a short-term memory loss. It doesn't matter. It's the concept of what's going on, and we're returning the client back to balance and harmony.
All right. Oh. So
I
can
hope.
you say some more then about the course? Yeah. So we're going to be doing a live call-in where people can ask questions, and then you're going to be or you are offering a kind of a year-long course, and you're going to be teaching all this stuff that you're talking about, right? How to communicate with the internal forces of the person, and how to decide where the balance is for that person.
In from the universe, up from Mother Earth, it all comes into the universal everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just like putting your fingers in a wall socket with a little bit of saliva on it. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, one of the most interesting things you've mentioned is this idea of the wave, of
yes,
being in touch with the wave, and then knowing when you enter a situation how to stay on that wave that you've kind of cultivated or connected with.
very delicate. It's very fragile. But once you're hooked in, you're hooked in. And then you have the power and authority of the universe with you. I mean, you can't really fathom that an arm that's been bent out of shape could actually be bone loosened up and then bone pushed back into place again and bone hardened up. It's hard to think about stuff like that, but trust me, miracles happen, and a lot of this stuff comes on a regular basis.
So is that's part of what you'll be teaching, is how to do that?
Yes, absolutely. I'll be teaching, like I can't teach how to diagnose because I'm not a MD, but I can teach how to do an assessment.
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to find out what's wrong with a client, you make an assessment. So I show you how to make an assessment. You also want to do protection for yourself, for the client, and for the environment that you're working in. So I show how we do protection, even how we find a good environment to work in. And when I say work, I mean spiritual work of returning the client back to balance and harmony again.
If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a question about protection and
Sure.
how do you perceive, we in the Tibetan tradition have a certain idea about protection too, but how are you perceiving protection and the why do you need to protect why do we need to
Well,
protect ourselves and what
okay.
are we protecting
For
from and how do
for
we do that?
yeah. For example, like we always wear shoes that are enclosed. That's part of our protection. Because when you have somebody on the massage table and you're working on them, all this methyl ethyl bad stuff comes out and drops down to the ground. And if you stay in one place too long, you allow that possibility of that potential of what came off of the client to go on to the healer or their helper. And the healer is also responsible for their helper. That's one reason why our feet are always moving like this on the ground. They're not stuck in one place. I like to think of it as hot sand on the beach and you're barefooted. You want
Hmm.
to keep your feet moving around. And then what are you protecting yourself from? Any ill will or malevolent intent. Because the client's off balance and we don't know why they're off balance. It could be a karmic situation. It could be a not listening situation. It could be listening too much. Even not saying something can be as dangerous as saying something by not saying something that's supposed to be said. Like if you're privy to something that's going on that's not right and you don't say nothing, you're as guilty as the perpetrator is because you allow that to happen and you know about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So what we're concerned about is that the healer doesn't get any stuff accumulated on them. So here's the example I like to use. I have these light workers that come to me and says, "Oh, well, I'm working in love, so I don't have anything to protect from because love is protecting me." And if you're that naive to believe that love is protecting you, then what you get is what you ask for. And what I'm asking for is protection, and what I'm going to get is protection. I want the client to be protected. I want the helper to be protected. I want my healing tools to be protected. I want the area that we're doing the healing work to be protected. And that's all from anything coming into you that's not already a part of who you are. Nothing that can come and intrude on you
Hmm.
as a healer.
Hmm.
And protection is very important. So these light workers that come to me, and they say, "Oh, well, I've been having illegal, irregular menstruation, and I'm all bloated." And they're licensed massage therapists, and they've just been sucking everything in off the people when you're touching them, going into the LMT uh, person and jacking them up. And then what I do is they come to me and I clean them all up and I show them how to protect herself. And I said, if you get all this bad stuff on you again, you can't come and ask me again because I only going to clean you up one time because ignorance is bliss. But now that I've showed you how to protect yourself, yes, it takes a little bit of energy and effort, but you get what you ask for.
Hmm.
Did that get to the point, or I'm still kind of
Yeah,
not getting
no,
it?
I think so. I think so. So I have another question, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
love the interaction here, because
Okay.
I
Cool.
could just go on and talk for 3 days. I like to get into some areas
Okay.
that, like maybe from a novice position, like I don't understand that. How's anybody else going to understand that?
Sure. Well, I'm thinking of I definitely have questions about the mechanics of everything, but I'm thinking for the benefit of people watching this, considering maybe to become a student or to request to be an apprentice or to do a long-term study with you. The question that people tell me that should be answered in asking these kind of questions is what sets you apart from other healing modalities or healers, or like what about what about your experience and your training and your insights and personal revelations on how these traditions really make sense and have truth to them. So what is it that makes you different and makes it really a unique treasure of what you're offering?
Well, I like to say that you could fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all the time. So, proof's in the pudding. I trained with 3 teachers for 10 years. I've been doing healing work all over the world for another 20 plus, maybe getting close to 30. So all that experience, I do 10 clients a day when I travel around the world, when I do healing work. And I've written 5 books on Native American faith healing that are in Japanese and Spanish, and now I'm getting ready to put them into English. So what happens with these people that read a little booklet, and say, oh, now I'm a spiritual advisor, and they come on, they do a few little things, they're looking for money, they're looking for attention, they're looking for fame. They don't last very long. They come and they go, because eventually when you don't have the real training and the real experience, like someone like myself and some of your other healers have, then it's just all bound to fall apart. So proof's in the pudding, 30 years doing the same thing, and you must be doing something right.
Okay. All right. um I was thinking you brought up another point here. Oh, with your books, do you have copies of your books nearby that you could hold up a book and tell us what
Oh,
it's
yeah,
about real quick?
sure, sure. Okay, very good. This is the book Healing Hands. That's by myself, Two Feather, and that's the back of the book.
Uh-huh.
And this is
Before you go to the next book, could you tell us a little bit about what the Book of Hands is, or the Book
yeah,
of Spirit? The
Healing Hands is a basic training manual, like how to do exercises, how to do techniques, like how to remove things out of people's bodies, how to scan the body to find out what's wrong. And see, this one's for editing. But for example, here, you can see some of the hand techniques there. And so basically, this is a training manual. Now, this is the only one I have available at my website, twofeather.com, the number 2 and the word feather. And you can go download this for, I think it's like $9 or $10. And it's the first one. But another book I have here It's called the Youth Book, and this one's in Spanish, Juventud, and basically it's pictures and then words so that the young people get engaged. So basically, I could turn to any page and show you the pictures.
Yeah, I believe you sent me an English copy.
Yeah, this one's in
Book of
Spanish.
Youth. Book of Youth. Yeah.
And then this is my prototype here. I made this case myself, and this one here is adult prayer.
Oh wow. Wow.
Adult prayer, and I just made it a nice little leather cover because I called up all these leather companies to make me a book binding, and they said, well, you have to do 10 books, you have to do 6 books. So I said, well, I guess I can make my own book binding. This is a youth book in English. This is my home copy. I'll just go ahead and open that up. See this one. Hello. You want to open? Thank you. This is the youth book,
Uh-huh.
Youth and Spirit. And if you open this up to any page, because it's a youth book, you'll see there's pictures there. This one here is, there's 3 different tribes that are going to go to war. One on top, one on each side, and then the otter's coming in with its special medicine being the peacekeeper. And so we go into all about otter medicine.
Hmm.
And that's just what I have on hand right here.
Okay.
But that gives you a bit of an idea
Mm-hmm.
of what's going on. And the other books are ready to go. I just have to turn them into ebooks, and then they'll be up on the twofeather.com website as well.
Yeah, maybe we can also carry them on our site here, Falun Rhythm Institute.
That'd be nice, once I get some funds in to make 1,000 copies, we'll have a little stock here, and then we can
Uh-huh.
sell the hardback books too.
Uh-huh. Nice. Two Feathered, you still have some connection. I know you said your teachers kind of cut you loose, but you still stay close with your oh, is that your book too?
Yeah, this is in Japanese,
Wow.
one of the books, and you could see some of the artwork in there
Uh-huh.
from the other books. And if you look at the writing,
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you could read that, but Japanese people can.
Mm-hmm.
And they changed the cover a little bit, but it's still the same book.
Oh, I know what I wanted to mention to you. Also, you have an advanced course after someone apprentices with you with enlightened healing. You also teach primitive skills. Is that, am I
Yes,
right?
yes,
Part of the more advanced training, actually.
sure. That's another thing that I do, but I'm really, really expert at the healing part. And you got guys like John Brown School, they got a lot of tracker schools out there that specialize in that particular field. Now, I'm just kind of rough around the edges. Like, I
Okay.
know how to go make a place to sleep where if you're in the enemy territory, they could walk on top of you while you're sleeping at night, and they wouldn't be able to know you were there.
Okay.
But I'm really specializing in training healers.
Mhm.
So many years working one-on-one. I don't even as many thousands and thousands of clients I've worked on, but now I'm going more as an elder into training people, and I'm looking forward to starting a university on the internet and train people in healing arts. But the thing about it is that I don't teach anybody. You could pay your fees or your tuition or your honorarium or whatever. It doesn't mean I'm going to train you. And the reason being is that if someone was to use the healing work training I train them in to hurt somebody else, I'm responsible. Because had I not trained them, they wouldn't be able to know how to hurt somebody, and I could smell them a mile away. And the moment I get any clue that they might possibly one of them who would use the training to hurt somebody, I cut them off in the snap of a finger, and they can't come back. And they usually get a refund plus $10 for electricity for the internet. Because when I just give them a refund, they're going, "What? You just give me a refund?" I said, "No, plus $10 for gas." Shuts them up.
Well, let's see. Is there another topic you want to cover so again, this is to give people an introduction to Native American traditional healing and the
Yes.
faith healing that you do, and yeah. So is there anything else? I mean, after the time that we've spent talking, people have an idea of you and your history and what you've been through, kind of, and your teachers, and what else would you like to share?
Well, the word history got me going because we're going to be making history. I will be the first Native American faith healer teacher to teach on the internet that I know of, a certified course. And basically, what it's going to be is 1 year of training. And then for all the people that make the 1 year of training, then it'll be 6 months to get certified. And my mission is to eliminate as many people as possible so I get down to the core group, because I'm really interested in training the ones who are going to use the healing arts to go into their communities and assist people back to balance and harmony again. And sometimes my students say, "Oh, thanks for training me." And I said, "Well, the thanks will be when you go to your community and use the healing art training to help your brothers and sisters where you come from."
And you have
So that's,
you have you have some advanced students around the world, right? I remember you
oh
sent me
yes,
some
quite a
pictures of
few,
them and stuff. Some really yeah.
quite a few. Like in Japan, in Tokyo, I had so many people sign up that I had to make the prerequisites 1 year of professional healing work before they could be considered as a student. And 30 usually is the maximum that I'll take. And if I get 31 or 32, then I got to eliminate one or two. And so I'll just take out the ones that are not the strongest until I get to my actual numbers. So it's going to be a very tough course to get into. There'll be a lot of prerequisites. You're going to have your own digger, your own drum. You're going to have your own massage table. You're going to have your own extractor, your own smudge bowl. And I'm going to show you how to make them all yourself. If you want to buy them off the website, you can, but I prefer that you make your own tools. And I'll show you exactly how to do them step by step. That'll be part of the course.
Hmm. And then you also have a side course that you teach about music too, right? You have a
Yes,
flute, yeah.
flute music, yes, because it started off with troubled youth. I was working with CPS, Child Protective Services, here in Texas, as like an outside contractor. And these poor youth, they've been arrested, they've been prosecuted by a judge and sent to jail. And then they got these tough love programs where they reach one out, and every time a bed's open and they put them inside the bed. And I exclusively work with young males. And when I go in there, here, everything's been kicked out of them. You're stupid, you're rotten, you're no good, you're dumb. Nothing you do will ever turn out to be anything. And then all of a sudden, in 10 minutes, they're playing the flute, and they played something that's beautiful. And they said, "Wait a minute, I'm no good for nothing. I'm a sour grape. I'm never gonna amount to nothing. Yet I played this beautiful little piece on the flute. I don't believe you anymore, and I'm not going to accept that anymore. And it developed as a self empowerment to self empower these young men who've had everything kicked out of them and sexually abused out of them and really hurt the hardest way of all. And now they've done something that's beautiful. So what happens is everything has a song. The rocks on the side of the river have a song, the mountaintops have a song, the city buildings have a song, the flowers have a song, the trees have a song. Once you learn from a teacher like myself how to ask in a good way and with a good heart what their song is, you can make songs for the rest of your life out of anything. Well, not anything, but as long as they're not uniform, like a bunch of chairs that are all the same size, they don't have a song because they just have one note.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful story. Thank you.
And then the adults started saying, "Hey, children, man, why don't you teach the adults?" I'm going, nah. Then when I started teaching the adults, it took twice as long.
Hey, here's a one more question, and
Sure.
I don't know how long we're our time. I can't find the timing that we're on, but I feel pretty good unless you want to share some more. But I have one more question. I was talking to another
Sure.
Native American elder, and in his tribe he doesn't have a word for teacher. They call teacher friend. That's the name for the teacher is friend.
Yes.
And I wanted to hear if that's similar to the tradition you're from, or is there if there's a real kind of hierarchy of teacher and student, because he was saying that the way their language is, it was based around their language really. Um, he said that they didn't really have like a hierarchy idea with teacher. It was more like friend, guide.
Well, like the word aho, you always see Indians going aho, aho, aho. If you translate that, the best you can would be with respect. So when we talk about our teachers, everybody has their own name. Like in one tribe would call them Hitale. So it's just semantics. It's just different words. But a lot of the indigenous language don't translate
Mm.
into English, and so it's semantics, and that's I believe one of my stronger gifts is I'm able to take the clients that I'm dealing with in a way with semantics that they can relate to and understand. Because if you talk with a bunch of fancy words, they're just going to go okey doke, and they're not going to get nothing.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were talking about with like outreach programs, is making it available to people from other cultures and other then it sounds like you have some good experience actually in that, traveling and teaching different people.
Well, there's this thing I got to deal with selling ceremony. So I don't sell ceremony. I never have, and I never will. So what's going to happen on the tuition for this course is it's going to be a sliding scale. Like the regular honorarium is, let's just say, a dollar number, and I'll call it a 10. So then if someone can't afford that, then they could come in at a level 9, which would be like $100 less. And if they can't come in at that number, the seekers, the students, then they'll come in at a level 8, which would be $100 less until you get down to $99, and that's about as low as we can go. So that's how I've got around selling ceremony, because we can't eliminate people because of money from learning the ways. So nobody will be eliminated because of money, but there must be an exchange. So I'm pioneering the newest grounds of training esoteric healing on the internet. And I'm hoping to make the blueprint so that the other healers that come after me who are willing to train people on the internet, I pray that they be discerning about who they train. And I pray that they have some type of elimination process to eliminate out the ones that should not be trained. Because this kind of information in medicine is not for everybody. It's for
Yes.
the altruistic. You got to be an altruistic kind of person to sacrifice yourself. People will wipe their feet on you like a doormat and not even say thank you. Come in, and when you're all healed up, then they walk out, and then they just like, la 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 la.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a similar idea with the colliery, Varma colliery and Siddha medicine, the points that and stuff that they teach, it's all tied in with martial arts, and they won't teach people very easily because you can really hurt people, and they show you how, they show you how you could really hurt people, but it's to show you how you can heal them when they've been hurt. And so, but yeah, some people could definitely not use it correctly.
So I would like to go over how this works a little more.
Okay.
Like a client comes in, and let's say, for example, they're a karma client. They've done so many bad things. Like, I'll give you the one example. I got this lady came into me in Serbia, and she was all crunched over, walking with her hand on her back, shuffling her feet, and she was all broken bones all over. So I got her on the table and fixed her up, and the healing was going really good. And I got up to about 80%, and the angels came down and said, "Stop." I'm like, "Oh man, I'm only 20% away." The angel said, "Stop." So I stopped, and I took my number one, which is my apprentice, out of the room, and I said, "Look, the angel said to stop. Something's going on here, some monkey business going on here." And the angels don't want to tell me what the monkey business are, but they told me to stop because they don't want her fixed all the way, because she needs to be part of her own healing. So it turned out that her husband of 40 years went out with the 20-year-old secretary, and then the secretary was getting all the husband's attention, and then she hit him with a frying pan and then knocked him down, and then she got up, and then he pushed her down. And what happened was she went to a voodoo priestess and had a curse put on him, so he couldn't get an erection no more. And she didn't tell me that. So she was part of the problem by putting a curse on her ex-husband, and she had to come to terms with that before she can get 100% healed. So I left with my apprentice. I said, "When you're ready, you call my apprentice and you reveal to her what you're not revealing to me. And at that time, we'll see about fixing the last 20%.
Very interesting. So I just had a bunch of kids come in. I think we need to draw it to a close here. Any last words?
Yeah, please. If you go to YouTube and see William Twofeather Web TV, I have a bunch of videos up there. And I also have a website, the number 2 and the word feather, twofeather.com, which is a work in progress, like most websites are. And I'd like to say a lot of prayers to Abbot Jerry and his Puerto Rico Foundation down there, and to Stephen Huntsman, and to all the good people here that want to do the right thing for the right reasons with passion.
Thank you. I also want to remind everyone that July 4th at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be doing a live broadcast, and people can call in and ask questions directly to you if they wish. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm not sure how we get that, but I'd like you to send me some kind of information so I can dial a couple of my people in, and maybe they'll come and watch too.
Okay. Excellent. We'll do that soon. Thank you so much, Twofeather. This went really
All right.
smooth. I
Done, Joe.
appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Catch you later.